The 14th International Symposium on Bioplastics, Biocomposites and Biorefining was held in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. It attracted world-leading researchers as well as academics, global industry experts, and government representatives. Over 300 delegates from 28 countries attended the event. Key opportunities for interaction and networking at the 4-day symposium included 5 plenary sessions that brought all the participants together. There were also 3 simultaneous workshops on major areas of focus in the bioeconomy, as well as interactive parallel sessions throughout the symposium on a variety of topics of interest to the participants. On day 1, the theme of the symposium's first plenary session was climate change, the bioeconomy, and sustainability.
Sustainability has got to be the most important goal in the world. I mean, I can't imagine a more important word. Climate change is absolutely the most significant challenge we face in our modern times, and the bioeconomy is a sector that bridges these gaps through science to eliminate any environmental impact that our society can have.
Biggest conclusion is let's think about the systems we need and choose the systems that make the most sense. But if we're talking bioeconomy, the first thing that underpins it all is biomass production. So the biomass production has to be sustainable at all the dimensions that it has.
And again, we say not everything can be done through industrial biotech, but there are certain things that Mother Nature does much better than the chemical industry, and succinic acid happens to be one of them.
To meet the climate targets we are talking about, 2 degrees and below. So the Paris Agreement has said we should strive for a 1.5 degree temperature change, and that's very, very right to do that. One conclusion of the current state of science is we cannot get to that target without the bio-based option on a large scale. And I put here a figure about 300 exajoules.
And the industry is generally looking for what's next. What can we do with this industrial platform that is going to diversify our revenue streams and generate higher margins? So, from an industry perspective, the value chain has to perform, and the value chain has to make money.
2 plenary sessions were held on day 2 of the symposium. The theme of plenary session 2 was innovation in bioplastic and bio-based product standards.
So the theme for today's conference is on your slide here. It is for bio-based products, consumer demand, and you can say they're going to talk all about bio-based products and the entire supply chain.
The other aspect that we have to look at is the biodegradability. How does this polymer break down? So when we start talking about biopolymers, there's 2 basic classifications we're looking at. Number 1, is it biodegradable? And so does it break down in a natural environment? Or the other aspect of it is, does it come from a renewable carbon source?
The products, a lot of talk about bio-based, people want to have bio-based products, but in reality, they want to have something that works. So it's pointless having something if it's bio-based if it doesn't do the job it's supposed to do.
So if we want to take our bioplastics to marketplace, as an academician, we have to think out of the box. So that is what the meaning of circular economy.
The other thing that we understood, which was heartwarming, is 95% of those consumers that do have a single-serve machine would try a compostable pod if they had access to it, and as long as quality and price were in line.
So what does certification mean? Of course, there's a standard for that. It's ISO IEC 17000, which defines first, second, and third-party conformity assessments.
The theme of plenary session 3 was sustainable manufacturing, natural fiber composites, and bio-based materials.
When it comes to sustainable manufacturing, the theme of this particular session, when it comes to understanding natural fiber composites or bio-based materials, it's all about trying to understand the customer-centric approach to start the innovation process, as opposed to the other way around, which I sometimes call the relentless pursuit of irrelevant perfection. Because you can go on and on and on creating stuff that people will see no value for because it's supposed to substitute something else, as opposed to create an industry of itself?
So my approach has been to say we're not going to necessarily use bio-based composites as a substitute, but what we want to do, the key to all this is to make them to have value added so that they can be used and give the designer a higher degree of flexibility for designing composite parts.
It's not easy to work in automotive though. The automotive environment is really harsh. Minus 40 C, all the way up to 130 C, these plastic materials have to perform just as good as the materials that they replace, right? We can't disappoint the customer.
Take away this, the way that DuPont looks at this is that when we see renewable feedstocks, when we see new tools from industrial biotech, what we see are new toolboxes, new tools for our toolbox to help us make better materials. But what we're really excited about is that these new feedstocks and these new tools allow us to innovate again in biomaterials.
GM, when you talk to them, they say that, hey, we are not here to promote a particular material, whether it is steel or high-strength steel or aluminum or magnesium or composites or carbon composites, whatever it is. We are in the business to select the right material system to solve our customer problem. As long as it creates a good business case, we are willing to hear your business proposition.
The fourth plenary session was held on day 3 with the theme of green chemistry and bio-based materials.
But the way we see advanced material today is not only that those carbon and carbon-based material becoming high performance and highly conductive or superconductive material, but the source from where we're extracting those materials become very, very important.
When we talk about sustainability, we should not only calculate the ecological impact, we also should consider the benefit in relationship to the impact.
Chinese WPC industry is undergo slow development right now. Interior wall selling pick up a moment right now, and a lot of new development products are emerging.
And the novel method to purification of lignin to chemical. After you degrade it, you have 100 chemicals. How can you separate that?
There were also 3 workshops held in the afternoon of day 3 by leaders in the biomaterials field. The theme of workshop 1 was biocatalytic routes to bio-based monomers and polymers.
We then re-aromatize the cyclohexane. Now we've got propylbenzene, and we feed that into our BTX cracker system, and there you go.
The new hope here is Meridian. They have a pretty interesting platform technology, and actually they got this, they licensed this from a partner in Guelph.
The theme of workshop 2 was recent advancements in bio-nanoscience and the technology of cellulose. This workshop also looked at translational research and the state of commercial avenues.
There are a lot of research is done now in this topic, but we are not really seeing the products of these materials. And I believe that this medical boundary is one.
This is a classical example where you have nanocellulose put in the system. Is the 100%, is the 98% bio-based product. And it is a clear example where the industry is moving.
Workshop 3 focused on the theme of advanced green composites and sustainability.
But we don't know what to do with that composite at the end of its life. And everything has a life.
To emphasize that the automotive industry, as much as they wanted to create good cars, safe car, comfortable car, cost is supreme.
The 5th plenary session was held on day 4 with the theme Bioeconomy, Policy, and Government Regulations.
Our focus is agriculture, forestry, and life sciences. So we're working towards growing prosperity in the Alberta's agriculture, food, and forest sectors through research and innovation.
We see ourselves more as enablers in partnering, collaborating, and investing, and being
there and coordinating across the province.
You know, we have announced a cap and trade program for reducing emissions, and as a result of that, proceeds that will come from that program are going to be diverted into a number of initiatives that help reduce emissions. Part of that will be looking at industries and sectors that can offset and displace emissions, and the bio-industrial technology sector, I think, is one area where there will be significant attention on.
Many people ask me, give me some ribbing once in a while, why are you working in policy? What do you do? Well, you know, I actually am very motivated to work every day because, one, I get to work in a very exciting, very innovative sector. And also, I get to try to create a policy environment, an enabling environment, a regulatory environment that is supportive to new, innovative ways of doing things.
We really act as the catalyst for Canada's first hybrid chemistry cluster in Sarnia, but we are now looking out to reach out to other communities and help them build their clusters as well.
The interesting aspect of the modularization in terms of new chemicals and new technologies is once you have your basic process for converting your biomass to syngas and then to methanol or ethanol, you can actually bolt on the additional modules required to convert your syngas stream or your methanol stream to whatever product or chemical you're looking for.
Comments from participants indicate that the symposium offered an excellent forum for networking and sharing of ideas that will advance the global bioeconomy.